Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my monthly Gacha roundup. This is going to be a new series I want to start. I've been thinking about this for a while, where about once a month I upload a video just talking about Gacha games in general, not really focusing on any specific game, but just kind of going through a few games, especially those that I don't really feature on the channel. And I can just kind of talk to you about my impressions of them at the very least. And if I do talk about games that I'm actively playing, it's more just to give you an update on something I don't want to make a dedicated video on. So that's kind of the purpose of this, just to kind of put my thoughts out there and just have it recorded, especially for future reference if I ever want to like look back at something. So for the first topic, I want to talk about Star Sailors. So I saw a creator upload a video talking about this game on the launch that it had. This was like, I guess they call it a soft launch because it was just I guess America and like two other regions. So it wasn't like a full global launch, I guess. I don't know the whole details about it, but apparently it's not like a widely launched game. But I gave it a shot. Day one had a lot of problems. It was literally unplayable. The game would crash about less than 5 minutes and then be playing the game. Like I couldn't get very far without just having serious problems. So I uninstalled it pretty quickly. But something told me a few days later, let's just reinstall the game and give it a try. Because I wanted to give this game a fair shake. It looked like, it had some nice visuals and it was a turn based, RPG, and it's kind of my thing. So I re downloaded it, hoping that there were no issues. Thankfully, it was better. It wasn't crashing nearly as often as it was on day one. So I guess I did some patching within those few days, and I was actually able to get an idea of how I feel about the game. Now, if I'm gonna be honest, this isn't really my thing. I'm just gonna be real. I don't think it's a bad game, by the way, but I'm not gonna play it regularly. It's just not what I'm interested in. So visually, I think the game is decent. I'll say that much. But it doesn't do anything special that grabs my attention. Music, like most games, don't didn't really do anything for me. Story presentation was okay, but again, it just doesn't do anything specifically to really grab me. And as far as combat, it was just kind of basic for my standards. So overall, I think if it's something you want to try, it's worth trying. But because of my extensive long history with playing gotcha games, this is one of those games that I probably would have been into back in like the mid to late 2010s. I probably would have been all about this game. But nowadays, it's just not enough, is the best thing I can say. Like I said, I'm not saying that this game is bad at all. I want you to understand that, if you're looking for something a little more chill, that, has some nice, decent visuals, I think that you might like this. Um, and I didn't go heavy into the gotcha, so I don't know like how crazy the gotcha is or anything. But this game just doesn't do anything to grab me personally. That's all it is. But it had a rough launch, but I think that they're starting to patch things up to make it more playable for people. So if you had issues on day one like I did, try downloading it now. You might actually like it. So I just kind of wanted to bring that up. All right, let's go to the next topic. Let's see. I should probably delete this. There we go. All right, this is a game I've been wanting to talk about for a while. Game is very popular, by the way, it seems. I'm a little surprised because it is kind of card game based to a degree. But I think what people like about Chaos Zero Nightmare is kind of the theme visually. It's kind of have this dark theme where it's a lot of like undead stuff, a little bit of gore, because there is some blood, like so it's something like that. I was kind of hesitant to play this game, to be honest, because I'm honestly not really into the dark, gory like horror thing. I'm just not into that kind of stuff. But I wanted to try this game because I thought the gameplay looked really intriguing. And so I eventually, after much hesitation, I downloaded the game. I played it for, I'd say, about 2 or 3 weeks. And I honestly think it has really good gameplay. I thought it was a lot of fun. But unfortunately, visually, this game just doesn't do it for me. I just don't like the dark horror theme when it comes to games. So I typically stay away from games like this. But I do think that if you like kind of a roguelike, I guess is what the terminology is now in terms of like random things happening, because you get like cards every turn that can do damage or heal or whatever you need it to do. And I honestly think that the nature of the gameplay itself, I think, is really, really strong and very addictive. I like it a lot in terms of like the gameplay. But again, the visual theme of a game also matters to me. And this is just not my cup of tea, is all that it is. But I do think it's worth playing, especially if you like the horror theme and you like kind of like a random chance of winning or getting good cards or whatever. And I had a hard time grasping how to correctly build decks. I know there are a lot of videos out on it, but I guess the learning curve was a little weird for me. I guess I needed more time to really get used to it. So I still think it's fun. I think it's worth trying, especially if you like the theme, which I think is what really draws people in. So I think it's a decent game, but not for me, just for personal reasons. But again, not a bad game at all. All right, one more game I want to bring up here. Here it is. All right, so this game is not out yet, Genesis War, but it did catch my attention. I think I saw an advertisement for it. I'm not 100% sure how this landed on my radar, but I want to say I saw an advertisement on YouTube, or there may have been a guy on YouTube who did a video on it. I'm not 100% sure. But either way, this looks like a strategy RPG, similar to your Fire Emblem type thing. Or if you want to go into Gacha terms, something similar to uh, I would say Girls Frontline. So now granted, this isn't like a super duper waifu game like Girls Frontline. I think you here is more of a nitty gritty strategy like game. Like you're not just getting pretty girls and stuff like that. You're trying to get more into in depth in combat. And I'm honestly curious just to see how this game is. I saw a video previewing the game and it just looks interesting. I have no idea when this game is coming out, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. So we'll see what happens when this game drops. Now, I've already done a demo video regarding this game, Star Savior, but I just wanted to say that I'm extremely addicted to this game right now. Uh, this is going to be kind of spoilers for my review in another 6 months, but the music in this game is strong. This isn't something I say very often because I'll be honest, most gacha game music isn't really anything special. But I think the music in this game is really, really good. As far as like good piano songs, just good songs for different menus and when you're actually playing in combat. The only thing that I would say that this game is lacking in terms of music is good boss music. But outside of that, it's absolutely top tier. I would put it on almost on the same level as Last Claudia. Because I think Last Claudia is probably the best game when it comes to music specifically. It has an outstanding soundtrack, boss music, menu music, everything. I think is top tier. This game is close to that. And to be honest, I can't think of any other game other than maybe Honkai Star Rail that has like really good music. So it's rare when I'm actually impressed by the music of a gacha game. So congrats to that for Star Saviors. But I also really just enjoy the gameplay. Um, the building your characters in the journey is something that I thought was going to be long and tedious, but it's not so bad. If you actually fully complete a certain difficulty, you can literally just skip it all. You can just set up like, what stats you want to focus on and other things, and then it'll do it all for you in a matter of seconds. Now, once you go to a different difficulty, you will have to play through it again until you clear it, but it's not going to be as huge of a time sink as long as you're able to fully clear each difficulty one time. And also in regards to the pity, so the way the pity is, it's basically 200. It kind of is similar to Last Claudia, where when you do pulls, once you get a certain number of pulls, you can use your currency to just get the character. I still consider that pity, by the way. So this game does have a 200 like hard pity, and it's fine. It is a little on the high side, but it's fine. Especially that at least right now in the honeymoon phase, it's a bit generous. I think once we go down a few months, it might not be as generous, which is why I'm kind of like holding my opinions. But seeing that it's a 200 hard pity is at least okay. It's not like the best in the world as far as gacha, but it's okay. I don't mind at all. Um, but yeah, I'm just obsessed with this game. I love the visuals. I love the music. The story presentation is good. The animations, as far as like how the characters move, react, and say their dialogue, is really, really strong. Like, I can't wait to do my review on this game. But as I've said in my demo, it's going to be like 6 months because I like to get over the honeymoon phase and see how the game really is before giving my actual thoughts. All right, let's go to the next topic. You know what? Since this popped up, I'm just going to talk about it real quick. Um, this isn't really a game that I would feature on my channel because it's not really a turn based RPG, but I did download it just because I was curious. Now, this is a tablet. This is the device that I use to play most of my gacha games. I like the concept, but any kind of action combat is difficult playing on a tablet, which is why I don't feature this game at all. But I actually really like it. I think the combat's cool. I think the whole factory thing, like kind of building up your base to farm stuff, I think is a really cool idea. But for me, this is one of those games that I can only enjoy on PC. And unfortunately, my PC sucks when it comes to gaming, which is why I don't play the game. If I ever do get like a legit PC that can run this game properly, then I would be happy to hop in and just enjoy the game, on my own. But I wanted to highlight this game because I really think it's worth trying. If you don't mind like the factory thing and you want some good like action combat, I think it's pretty cool. The characters look nice as well. I think the visuals are pretty cool. I think the voice dialogue is really cool. Like I actually kind of was into the story a bit, so um, it's a cool game. It's just that I just don't have the proper device to really enjoy this game. So I just wanted to bring that up since it kind of came up anyway. Now, this is a game that I do actively play on this device, Seven Nights Rebirth. I only want to bring this up because they are currently in the middle of a collab with Solo Leveling. So, if you like Seven Nights, if you like Solo Leveling, this is a good time to jump in, collect those characters. I believe the characters are like easy to get. Like, you can basically get them for free by just participating in uh, events. There's like 4 characters in total. Um, but you can do a gotcha pull for the 2 legendaries. But this is more just if you like the anime and you want to be able to just enjoy the characters. Now's a good time to hop in. One thing that I do want to say though with Seven Nights overall is that as much as I respect the franchise, I've come to realize that I'm not as into this game as I used to be. So back when the original Seven Nights dropped in like the 2010s, like mid 2010s, I believe. This game was like pretty hardcore because there wasn't really a lot of competition that was that good. Like visuals in this for its time were really good. Um, Games weren't offering a ton of great side content and stuff like that. So, this game was just like a big deal back then. Now that we're in 2026, there are just so many better games that look better, that have more PvE game modes to enjoy, that this game is not as great as I had hyped it up in my mind. Like I still play it, but the thing is all I'm really doing is just farming in PvP. That's it. Like they don't really have a lot of PvE content for me to actually do. Like they have a tower mode, like two different tower modes, but that's not really enough. Like they don't have like rotating events or anything like that. Like a game like Ethereal Restart, if you play that, you get a lot of rotating events, which is actually kind of fun and interesting. Even if they do have a couple of events I hate, overall I like the idea that they give us something to do every week. It's something different at least. So I think that's kind of cool. But unfortunately, 7S doesn't have that. About the only thing event wise that they have is like a brief story event for a new character, and it's not for every character that comes out. It's like every other uh, character update, they'll get like a story. So you're waiting like 2 months basically to get a character story event, and which I would say are pretty cool, but they don't. But that's it though. There's not really much to do. Is kind of the problem with this game. Like I'm at the point right now where if I were to say play another game that really caught my interest, and let's say I start running out of space, this is probably going to be the first game to go. I'm going to be real, because there's just not much that's going on in this game. I'm not really doing enough to really like keep my attention and interest in the game. I mean, right now I'm just collecting waifus, and that's pretty much it. If I'm being real, because I don't really particularly care for PvP. Like I'm not that competitive. I don't care about being the best in PvP. So if you really want to keep my interest, you got to get some PvE. That's gonna really keep me going. And just Seven Ice right now just hasn't got it. I'm sorry to say, but I wanted to bring that up, and I'm gonna bring up one more game real quick. Maybe two more. We'll see. All right. So Last Claudia. Now, I don't play Last Claudia on my tablet. I actually play Last Claudia on my phone. So that's why you see it here saying install instead of play. Um, I am still playing the game. I'm only bringing this up right now because I'm at the point where I don't know if I really want to do dedicated videos to Last Claudia anymore. I feel like I've said everything that I wanted to say about the game. I still play it, mostly to help the guild. I'm just supporting the guild that I'm in right now with their, PvP stuff and the new mode that they have whenever it comes out called Summoner's Yard. So I do still play the game, but it's mostly just to support the guild. Um, and what I will say is, this is a game that I still think is decent. Like, if this was the one of the few Gacha games that I actually played for its story. Like, I think it has a really good story, and the fact that like you have like the main story that's talking about the events that's happening in currently, and the event story is talking about what's happening in the past. So I like that dynamic of two different perspectives of story that's been done all throughout the game. I think that's one of the strongest things about this game. And of course, the music, which all of this I've said in my official review of the game. But the main reason I'm bringing this up is just to announce that you're not going to really see much content on this game for me anymore, only because I'm just kind of over it now. It's just kind of I just kind of want to focus on other games at this point. So I may add this to like my monthly Gacha roundup if something really interesting happens that I want to briefly bring up. But I'm just don't feel like doing dedicated videos on the game anymore. So I figured I might as well just announce that here. But like I said, I still play it, but just don't expect a lot of Last Claudia content. I think I'm going to actually let me say one more thing. Which, let's see. Okay, Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. I want to bring this up real quick. I did a video months ago talking about how I was taking a break from the game. And I've basically decided I'm not coming back. The biggest reason that I stopped playing was because the new version of Shadowverse got rid of the ability to easily build a deck by using vials to get rid of cards you don't need. Now you have to have 3 copies of a card before you can, well, I should say 4 copies of a card before you can vial anything, which makes building a deck extremely slow, thus making it more pay to win than anything else. And I don't like that. It was really making my progress of building decks super slow, and that's ultimately the reason why I'm kind of done with the game. Is just I wish it was like the original Shadowverse, where if there was just a class you had no interest in playing, you could just get rid of all those cards and then use those resources to build a deck for the class that you do play. Like that's honestly what helped me to build decks a lot faster. And I was still spending money to support the game. It wasn't that I was just doing everything free to play. It just made it more convenient to build an actual deck early rather than having to struggle with a half-assed deck before maybe a month or two later you can finally actually fully build the deck, and by then you've already had new sets drop. So you're just kind of like, you're basically behind all the time, and I don't want to be behind all the time. The game is just not worth it. I'm not spending a bunch of extra money just so I can have my decks built faster. It's just not worth it to me. So I'm not coming back to this game, which is a shame because this was like the one card game series that I was super duper into. But the way they changed the vial system really just ruined it for me and made it not worth it featuring on my channel or just playing in general. I had to focus way too much time playing the game every day to try to grind enough to eventually create more and more cards to build a deck. And it's just like there are other games that I enjoy more that I want to play, and I don't want to have to dedicate 3 hours a day to a game to potentially build a deck. Like it's just not worth it. So just letting you know, you're not going to see any content about this game from me, and I'm just not coming back. Like if I ever find out that they go back to the original Shadowverse style where you can actually vow whatever you want, you don't have to have a full set plus some in order to actually use those resources, then maybe I'll come back. But until then, I'm done with the game. But yeah, I think I'm going to end this video on that note. I do appreciate you guys sticking around and actually listening to me yap about just various games. But this is something I've been thinking about doing for a while, and it gives me an opportunity to just highlight games that I don't feature on the channel and just talk about things that I don't want to make a dedicated video on that maybe I do actively play. So just wanted to bring that up. And I think that's going to be all for today. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you next month.